Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. It is very cold. It is currently pouring down with rain. We're in a cold snap here in New Zealand. Even though we have just come into spring, I have the heat pump going. It is raining, so I'm sorry if there's a lot of background noise going on, but like, it's so cold. As you saw, I had my hot coffee, which I just burnt my tongue on. Amazing, love that. In today's video, I am going to give you a tour of my little plant room, plant nook. This is what we are in now. This is supposed to be our dining room, but it is the only room in the house that gets really good lighting, and it is a very small space. If I put my arms outstretched, I could probably touch both sides of the walls. That is how small it is. So yeah, I will try and film and get the angles if I can. Sorry if the lighting is a bit crap. I've only got the natural light from the window and then the light from my grow light behind me, but it is very dark and gloomy today, so hopefully this video turns out well. If you are seeing it, it obviously turned out alright. If you don't see this, well, turned out terrible. So the first plant I want to show you is actually hanging up on my window. I'm going to bring it down because obviously it'll be extremely backlit. This is a little, I think it's Christmas cactus, whatever, it's that sort of kind of cactus, but I actually thrifted it from a local op shop and it was only $4 and it was very small. It was just like a little pot of cuttings, and it has grown so much, and it has just popped out its first 2 blooms, which that is one there and the other one is dying off, but it is so cute and it is such a beautiful vibrant hot pink, and it is doing tremendously hanging up in the window. Yeah, I'm really chuffed with this. I have never actually grown one of these before, so I'm very pleased that it is absolutely thriving. So yeah, that is my little cutie cactus. Okay, so I think I will start on this side of the room. So I just have some propagations over this side. But this is that little terrarium that I did in a YouTube video. If you haven't seen it yet, make sure you go and check that out, because it definitely wasn't this big when I first potted it up, and one of the begonias is blooming, so it is absolutely thriving in there. So yeah, make sure you go and see that video if you haven't already. Climbing over here is my Monstera dubia, which I just have growing up this plank of wood. I did chop it not so long ago, well actually a little while ago, which is why the stem is a little bit bare there, but it is growing back nicely and it is going to start climbing on my wall, which I'm going to let it do. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. But that is just in that corner there. So these are sort of my little floor plants in the middle here. This is obviously a Philodendron Florida Ghost, and it is actually 2 plants potted up on a grow pole, and these were just tiny tissue culture plants when I first got them, like very tiny, and now it is very big and beautiful, and I absolutely love this one. And over here is a variegated Philodendron Anderson Red, and it has beautiful white pink variegation. This is actually my mum's one, which I am growing out. That is its latest new leaf, and it is very pretty. In the middle I have my 2 variegated Monsteras. This little plant here is about 2 years old. It was just a 2-leaf cutting when I got it, and it is growing nice and large. This is its newest leaf that has just put out, and it is so beautiful. I absolutely love variegated Monsteras. I just think they are so pretty. And if you can afford to get one, or if they are readily available, I highly recommend. They're actually really easy to care for. This one here definitely needs a drink, but this was sort of the top cut of my original Monstera that I grew, and it hasn't really done a lot since I cut it, so I'm going to have to give this one a bit of love. But yeah, so pretty. Obviously damage is sort of unavoidable when you've got high levels of variegation like that. And then moving on to this plant shelf here, so I have my Philodendron Jose Buono, which I go on and on about on Instagram because I just really love this plant. this is its latest leaf, which is very pretty. I need to give it a water. As you can tell, the leaves are a little bit curled and thirsty, so I will do that after this video. And next to that is my Philodendron Florida Beauty. It keeps throwing out either full variegated leaves, full green leaves, and the occasional like nicely variegated. I wish it sort of all looked like this, but it doesn't, so it is what it is. Behind there I have a Hoya, I can't think of the name, this little crinkly leafed Hoya. I really love it. I've got it on one of our Wildvine clear trellises. And behind that is a Philodendron Cream Splash, which is absolutely thriving. It is so bushy, and yeah, I really love it. I grew it from a little 2-leaf cutting, and it is doing super well. I love the markings on the leaves. Behind that is my wild Scindapsus trubii or exotica, and it is literally growing everywhere. Like, here's one of its vines that goes all the way down to the floor, and then here is a vine that is growing all the way over here, and the plant is up there. So yeah, it is really taking over the shelf, but I kind of love it. And this is just a cute little cutting of a variegated variegated Miranda, which I have in this cute thrifted pot, and yeah, I really like it. I think it looks really cute. Moving on to the second shelf, this is the mother plant. This is my variegated Miranda, and it is very beautiful. I recently just transitioned it into pond, so it is now growing semi-hydro. This one is in soil still, and this one is in semi-hydro. This is my Philodendron Birkin, another highly underrated plant. This is one of its newest leaves, and I just thought it looked really cool. It's a bit of reverting back to its original form, a bit of Birkin variegation, and then sort of half white. I think that looks really cool. It is absolutely loving these little shelf grow lights. I will link them, if you're in New Zealand, I will link them there on my website, or you can get them on Amazon, which I will also link below. This here is my little Hoya rotundifolia. Can't quite remember. I'm kind of getting out of Hoya. I just have too many issues with root mealy with them, but I really like this one and how it's growing, so I'm going to keep it. Down in here is my variegated chain of hearts, and this girl slinks along here, up, down, up, and then comes down here and is sort of all over the floor. Same with the Scindapsus. It is just taking over, and it is growing up on the wall as well. So yeah, these plants are a little bit wild. And then down in here is like a little bit of a prop shelf. So I just have lots of random propagations in water, and then this is actually my newest addition. So this is actually a really recent addition. This is a Philodendron serpens, and they are still super rare here in New Zealand, and I actually got gifted this from one of my plant friends from WM Rare. So yeah, I love this. I am so excited to watch it grow, and it has a new leaf coming in, which is super excited. It is just a little baby, but I am very hopeful, and I just have it living down here under the grow light, so hopefully it'll thrive. But yeah, that is sort of this side of my plant room, and we will move on to this side. Okay, let's start up high. So this is my Anthurium bakerii. It is in inflorescent at the moment, so I've got 2 inflows on there. I actually have grown seeds from this one already, which is really exciting. Don't mind that. That is where my Philodendron billeti was growing on my wall. Next is my neon pothos. This is growing in semi-hydro, so it's growing in pond in one of our new self-watering pots, which is really cool, and it is actually thriving. So I've had really bad luck with neon pothos growing in soil, but for some reason in semi-hydro it is just flourishing, and it is so easy, so low maintenance. So I'm very chuffed, because I love the vibrant, jungly vibe of that plant. Next to that is a Begonia Don Miller. This is a New Zealand variety, and I think they're really, really cool. I love the silver markings on the leaves. Next to that, I just have a little Sansevieria. Next to that, I have my big, long, strappy boy, Anthurium Vitarifolium, which I love. I just think, if I can zoom out, I just love the cascading effect of it. I think it is a really, really beautiful plant. This here is its newest leaf, and it is still growing. This is actually 2 plants planted into one pot. Actually, looking at it now, Jeepers Jones, I didn't realize how big it has gotten. Wow, that's cool. Okay, love it. This is its longest leaf, long boy leaf. Yeah, just obsessed. And next to that is a little Hoya pubicalyx, which is chilling out in the middle of the room. This is just on a little round trellis, and I have a few shitty propagations up there. Moving on to the next shelf, I have my Monstera addin Sonia monkey mask variegated. Could look better, but it just looks like that, and yeah, it needs a bit of TLC and probably a better position to grow in, but for now it is just chilling back there. This is my Monstera Siltepecana El Salvador, and it is all party at the top and nothing at the bottom. So this plant is definitely going to get a chop and prop very, very soon. And I'm going to restart it on a pole because it is growing off the pole. I do really love this plant. I love the silver markings on its leaves, and it did actually start to fenestrate. But yeah, I sort of neglected it too much. Let's not talk about that. That is a Syngonium Winlandii. Behind the beautiful Vitarifolium is my Begonia maculata. It has just pink blooms. Next to that, and I really need to train it back on this pole, is my Syndapsis. I think it's Silver Hero. Yeah, Silver Hero. It's just lots of cuttings I planted up onto one of these really wide grow poles, and I really like how it's growing. But again, I need to train it back onto the pole so it sort of fills out a bit more. This little cutie is a little African violet, a variegated one that I thrifted from the op shop as well, which was a really, really good score. It was only $6, and I just think it's really pretty, and I've never actually grown an African violet before, but this one seems to be doing quite well. Its leaves are actually coming in a bit more variegated than what it was when I purchased it, so I'm happy about that. This little dude is a Philodendron fibrae cataphyllum. I only just took a cutting of it yesterday, so there's not much to look at there. Moving on to this plant. This is probably one of my favorites, actually, if I can pull it out and show you in all her glory. This is a Epipremnum pinnatum skeleton key, and it obviously gets its name from its leaf shape. Kind of looks like a skeleton, kind of looks like a key. Love it, absolutely love it. One of my favorite plants, and you either really love it or you really hate it because it has such a unique leaf shape. This is its newest leaf here, and again I'm going to have to extend the pole very, very soon. And at the front I just have a Hoya multiflora that just blooms and blooms and blooms and drips its bloom juice everywhere. But yeah, another low maintenance plant, and it just seems to be really happy there. So that is the 2 shelves of my plant shelf. Now we will move on to the bottom row. Now this plant I'm kind of really sad about. This is my Philodendron painted lady. It was absolutely thriving in my grow tent, but it got too big, so I decided to move it inside. And since then it has grown that very average leaf and this even more average leaf, and it's just looking a bit so I'm thinking I might chop it and let it regrow. It has discolored quite a bit because it did get some direct sun in wintertime because the sun comes right in here. Yeah, it just needs a little bit of love, probably needs a repot and a drink. So that is on the cards, but yeah, I'm pretty gutted that it doesn't look as amazing as it did growing in the tent. Next to that, I just have my Philodendron Ring of Fire, and I have it growing on a grow pole. I just kind of wanted to tame it a little bit and see what it looked like when it grew on a pole, but it's kind of a bit of an awkward plant. I don't know if I love it or I don't know if I hate it, but it just chills there and fills in the space, so for now it is going to stay there. Next to that is my Philodendron Atabapawensi, and these plants are truly stunning. They just have the most pretty red backed leaves and then like a real silver bluey foliage. This is its new leaf coming in, so I'm really loving this plant. I have it on a grow pole and I can't wait to see it grow and mature, because so far it is very stunning, and I just can't get over the colour of the back of the leaf. So pretty. Next to that is my Monstera Addin mint that you probably would have seen in one of my most recent videos where I chopped and propped. This is the top part that I'm growing out as a new plant, and it's actually doing pretty good. So I'm very pleased with that. Its leaves are slowly moving over to face the light, but yeah, I think it looks really cool, and I'm excited to keep growing this one and hopefully get it back to its former glory. Next to that one is my beautiful Philodendron Heartleaf, a variegated Philodendron Heartleaf. Its leaves are getting actually pretty big and they have such beautiful chunks of variegation. Again, this will be the, oh my gosh, this will be like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This will be the 8th grow pole that I have put on this. So this is the top of the plant that I chopped off and kept growing on, and now it is due for another extension. So it is growing so well, and I have so many beautiful babies of this coming to my shop, which is really exciting. This is my Begonia Silver Dragonwing. It always gets lots of comments on Instagram. People just really love the foliage of it. It's actually really easy to grow, and I have chopped and propped this plant many times and planted it back into the pot, which is why it's looking nice and full. Okay, moving on to this section. So this big pillowy big boy is my Philodendron Fuzzy Petiole, and as you can see it has delicious funky furry petioles, which is what it gets its name from. But this plant is massive. I really love it though. Like, it fills up the space and I think it looks really beautiful. This is its latest leaf, which it pushed out in winter, so it's not as big, but it is still very pretty, and it is working on yet another new leaf here. So yeah, and look how big the stem's getting. Like, the stem is getting so chonky, and love this beautiful red. Very pretty. And next to that is my Monstera Escaleto. Now this beast is absolutely massive. It takes up a whole lot of room, but I really don't mind, and I think I'm actually going to chop and prop this one very soon, because it has reached the top of its grow pole and it is starting to grow a little bit funky. So I really need to get onto this ASAP, and yeah, it is just getting too big. Its leaves keep ripping because it is just, yeah, it's too big and it gets in the way, and then its leaves get caught and ripped. This is its newest leaf that it put out in winter, which is still hardening off, and yeah, I'm really gutted it got ripped, but it is what it is. Yeah, it's just really big, and I really love it. Like, it's one of my favorite plants that I have. So yeah, I need to deal with that. This is my Anthurium Magnificum Cross Crystallinum. I don't know what it is with Anthurium, but I can't stop this from happening. And I don't really like the look of it. But anyway, it's just chilling back here, and it has a whopper inflow at the moment, which I'm collecting the berries from, and I'm going to grow some seeds. So I actually pollinated this with Anthurium Crystallinum cross mag, which is this one, and then I crossed it with an Anthurium Forgetii hybrid as well. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what babies this produces. Okay, so moving on to this back section. So this is all supported by this grow light, and it is just on an old coffee table. But back here is my Monstera Peru. Absolutely love this plant. I love the texture on its leaves and the colour, and it seems to be really, really happy back there. This overgrown beast is my Filodendron elegans, and it is very bare down the bottom and way too close to the grow light, so I am going to chop and prop because look at all these juicy aerial roots, so propagation will be no trouble at all. But I'm going to chop and prop and start this plant again so I can get it growing a lot nicer than that. Next to that is my dendrinsodoro, which I recently brought inside. This was another grow tent plant which was getting way too big for the tent, and this is its newest leaf that it put out inside in winter time. So it is loving its new spot. It is losing this lower leaf, but I think that's just because it is so shaded out and there's no light getting down here. And it is the oldest leaf, so that's totally fine and totally normal. This is the base cut of my mint Monstera insonia that I'd showed you before. It is doing well. It is pushing out a new leaf already, and it has activated some growth points, so this should do really well, and I'm really excited to watch it grow again. This big beauty is my lemon lime philodendron. It just grows without a fuss. It really needs a repot because it dries out so quickly, but I'm kind of not looking forward to doing that because it's going to be very hard to get out of that pot, but it is sort of trailing down, and it is also climbing up a support. Next to that is a Epipremnum Patum Cebu Blue. Now this one I just don't have the room for any more big polled plants, so yeah, that one is probably going to go sometime soon. This is my Philodendron Dean McDowell. I actually struggle a lot with this plant, and I don't know why, but I mean it's growing, but it doesn't look amazing, so not too sure what to do with this one. It has a really great root system, like look at that. It's definitely not a root issue. It doesn't like me. So yeah, I'm not too sure what it wants or what it needs, because right next to it is my massive Philodendron Gloriosum, which is huge, large, in charge, taking up majority of this space, and just an absolute beauty. It has 3 inflows at the moment. I'm probably going to chop them all off soon, and there is going to be a video of me propagating this plant, so stay tuned for that. This boy needs to be taken back a little bit. It's a little bit wild, a little bit out of control, and I just want some room back, but it is truly stunning. Truly stunning. Like, I wish you could really gauge the size of it because it is massive. Maybe I'll hold it up for the end of the video or something. Oh yeah, and this guy. This is a little Monstera deliciosa, which I have growing in perlite, which I had never grown a plant in perlite before. It is in one of our self-watering pots as well, and it has just pushed out a new leaf, so it is really enjoying the perlite life, which is really cool. Because this pot is so big, it's actually really light, because perlite's nice and light, and it's pushing out some really big chunky roots. So I think it is really happy in there, and I'm excited to keep experimenting and seeing how this one grows and develops. So lastly, on the back of this shelf, I have a Monstera Sonia, which is actually attached up on the wall, but it is looking really rough down the bottom because we walk past here and we always knock it and hit into it. So I am thinking I'm going to completely cut this one back and start again and put it on a grow pole potentially. So if you want to see that in a video, leave a comment down below and I will be sure to do that on a video. Moving over to this side, I have this big gorgeous Gorgeous Anthurium. I bought it at the Plant Project's closing down sale and it had no ID. So we don't know what kind of Anthurium it is, but it is big and it is beautiful and I absolutely love it. And I also pollinated its inflow and its berries are coming along nicely. So I crossed this with the Forgetii hybrid as well. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of babies we get from this big beauty. And lastly, just tucked in the corner is my Philodendron Florida, which for the second time has fallen off my wall and snapped. So yeah, I have its growth tip in a jar of water just sitting at the bottom of the plant to hopefully fill it in a little bit. But yeah, I really need to do something about that growing situation because it just keeps falling off the wall and ripping all the paint off. So yeah, that's a future me problem, but for now I'm just gonna leave it. Okay, I want to pick up my Philodendron Gloriosum so you can see the size of it. But this is it. Like, it is truly massive, and yeah, I really love it, and it is definitely due for a chop, prop and repot because obviously it has outgrown its pot. Stay tuned for that video. That should be coming out in the next few months. So yeah, I think that concludes this little planty tour of my little plant room. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you leave me a comment in the comment box below what your favorite plant was that you saw today, and hopefully I can do sort of like an updated video maybe in the autumn time so you can see how much these plants have grown over summer. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any planting content, and it really helps support my channel, and I just appreciate you watching any content I put out. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. Bye!